The RAISE Act will reduce poverty, increase wages, and save taxpayers billions and billions of dollars. It will do this by changing the way the United States issues green cards to nationals from other countries. Green cards provide permanent residency, work authorization, and fast track to citizenship.
President Trump introducing a bill to create a new legal immigration formula for the United States, which he says emphasizes merit. Now, Trump says the new competitive application process will favor those who possess skills that will actually benefit the U.S. economy, people who can speak English and are able to financially support themselves as well as their families. Joining me now, Fox News contributor Mercedes Schlapp, political analyst Gina Loudon, who also serves on the Donald J. Trump for President, Inc. Advisory Board, and former Hispanic Chamber of Commerce official Pablo Manriquez, who has also served as a former DNC official. Welcome to all three of you tonight. I want to start with this. I want to ask this question to all three of you. Merit-based, good or bad? Mercedes, let's start with you.
It's good, and let me tell you why. The left is going to jump and say this is racist, or going to make all these accusations. But then you would have to say that countries like Canada, Austria, Australia, New Zealand, Japan, all of those countries actually support merit-based systems. That is what they do for their immigration system. This is about modernizing our immigration system. Our immigration system is outdated. It attracts low-skilled workers. And what we need to do is we have to have an immigration system that matches our economic needs, and that is attracting talent. It is attracting high-skilled workers, and that should be the priority.
All right, Pablo, over to you.
I would tend to disagree with that. I mean, look, right now we have crops that are rotting in the field in Bakersfield, California, and across the entire agricultural United States.
Easy, let them finish real quick.
Right, across the entire United States. And what we're suggesting here is just slashing half of the legal immigration. This is going to have a lot of pushback. And I think that, honestly, and I think that from your party, especially Mercedes, this is going to be an opportunity for compassion and conservatism to win out. And because, you know, obviously this is just a proposal. This isn't the law. This is something that's going to be mismatched up.
So you're saying it's bad?
Yeah. I am.
Okay, let's go over to you, Gina. Your thoughts, good or bad?
I think merit-based things are always good, whether we're talking about contracting or anything else, but certainly in this situation, when all economists agree that our current policy hurts legal immigrants and our minority population, my question for those who would advocate against this is, why would you want to hurt those populations by keeping things the way they are and continuing to hurt our current immigrants and minority populations and their incomes?
Well, sparks were definitely flying today over President Trump's plan. So go ahead and take a listen to what happened in the White House briefing room today.
This whole notion of, well, they could learn, you know, they have to learn English before they get to the United States. Are we just going to bring in people from Great Britain and Australia?
Jim, actually, I have to honestly say, I am shocked at your statement that you think that only people from Great Britain and Australia would know English. It's actually, it reveals your cosmopolitan bias to a shocking degree that in your mind, no, this is an amazing moment. This is an amazing moment. That you think only people from Great Britain or Australia would speak English is so insulting to millions of hard-working immigrants who do speak English from all over the world. Jim, have you honestly never met an immigrant from another country who speaks English outside of Great Britain and Australia? Is that your personal experience?
Of course there are people who come.
But that's not what you said, and it shows your cosmopolitan bias. And I just want to say,
it sounds like you're trying to engineer the racial and ethnic flow of people into this country.
Jim, that is one of the most outrageous, insulting, ignorant, and foolish things you've ever said. And for you, that's still a really the notion that you think that this is a racist bill is so wrong and so insulting.
Definitely got very heated there. One of the things Stephen Miller also said, though, is that this would eliminate chain migration. Essentially, someone is brought into this country on the current system, then they can bring their family members. They might bring somebody who's elderly, who might immediately go on public assistance. That person can also bring in a family member. Pablo, explain to us why this is not a good new policy.
Well, I think that I agree with Eric Bolling, what he said earlier about how, you know, they rolled out a policy earlier today with the president, Senator Cotton, and so on. But having Stephen Miller come out here and kind of, you know, provide red meat for the briefing room was probably not the best way to sell it. I'm not going to sit here and call this bill racist or anything like that. I think that the left should be above that. But I also think that the administration needs to sell it with a little bit of a softer touch if they actually want to encourage people in the center, which they have not been able to do on any of their policy proposals so far.
I mean, it sounds like you can almost support it. You're saying a soft touch. But, you know, I want to go over to...
I think that as it rolls forward, there's going to be things that are added to it, and there is an opportunity to negotiate. I don't think there's going to be 50% reduction in immigration. I don't think that anybody's going to go for that. It could be something better.
It's certainly going to be tough to get this passed. Mercedes, Senator Lindsey Graham has already basically said if this were to become law, it would be devastating to his state's economy.
Well, it's interesting because, you know, I agree with Pablo. In fact, I think it's going to be very difficult to push this bill through Congress. You know, I think that for the White House, it would have been smarter to build out more of a listening session, have this exchange, this conversation on what needs to be included in an immigration bill. They just kind of threw this bill out there. And when you really look at it, you're going to see that many of these moderate Republicans are not going to support it. Mitch McConnell doesn't even have room in the legislative calendar to add an immigration reform bill to the calendar this year. They can't even, they've got to get through tax reform, for crying out loud, and they've got to get a legislative victory. And that's what, if I were the president, that's what I would be talking about.
Such a good point. And that's why some people say that this was more of this administration sort of playing to his base. Gina, just very quickly, thumbs up or thumbs down for maybe a softer touch?
I think what's important is that when Americans have full employment, then we can say that we go for softer touches. Right now, we need to fix this. And to Lindsey Graham, his state is in the top 10 unemployment in the country. Why would he be the one making the case against full employment for his state? I don't understand.
All right, lots of strong feelings on this. Mercedes, Gina, Pablo, thank you so much for being here.